from the city is still. I'm from the city is still. Hey guys, welcome to Picksburgh. My name is Anthony, and with me today I have my buddy Nate. Every day I'm hustling.
What up?
And today, guys, we're going to go over some grading strategies. As you know, pretty much all of the major grading companies have raised their pricing just this past week. And we just kind of wanted to go over kind of what the market's looking like, kind of different strategies we have, because this is going to completely change the way that we're grading cards, because there's no meat on the bones for certain categories of cards right now, in my opinion. What do you think, Nate?
Yeah, I mean, the prices getting raised across the board has definitely shaken up and made us all, choose wiser when picking cards. If you really feel hot about a guy early on, you could still send his stuff in bulk, possibly just because you think he might blow up by the time those cards come back. But now with some of the vintage stuff, maybe some of those inserts you were picking up isn't worth it anymore.
Yeah, definitely. I know for me, I had different grading strategies. I obviously had my high-end stuff going to you for PSA through your group submissions, but you know what I mean, I had mid-tier stuff that was assigned to SGC, and if they would have stayed at $15, man, I'd have been hammering them with orders. You know what I mean? I'd have been sending them so much stuff, because that would have been such a value deal, you know what I mean, at $15 compared to what it would be to send a PSA. But then they went and jumped to 25, and I'm like, man, even that kills a lot of my mid-tier stuff that I wanted to do. And then GMA, they jumped their prices up as well, you know what I mean? We were able to get, $6 bulk pricing. Now it's $8 bulk pricing, which was their flat fee, you know what I mean? And the thing that sucks about even the $8, which, you know what I mean, it wouldn't be horrible, but the issue I have with the $8 is that's 45 plus day turnaround. You know what I mean? The first GMA order we sent in, we got in a week. You know what I mean? And that was at the $8 level. The next one, I actually still haven't gotten back yet. It's been over 2 weeks. I'm really wondering what's taking so long. I don't know if maybe we got kicked into that bulk 45 day tier now or whatnot, because their website says 45 to 65 days due to COVID, but they have been turning around stuff within 1 to 2 weeks lately.
I think with every company now, there's a role, there's a rhyme or reason why it might be good to use them versus maybe just going straight to PSA, because that's basically what I was doing for the most part, just sending everything that I thought was going to be good, or value wise was there, go all the PSA. And then I was starting to consider GMA kind of like what you're doing, sending certain things with the NBA, with Prism draft picks and different things like that. I was starting to get on board with that if I can ever get some to rip. Now that everything has went up, some of it you can get back quicker with different companies, some of it the value is not going to be the same as PSA. So it's very interesting to see kind of what grading systems or cards people are going to be picking going forward. You know what I mean?
Well, yesterday, dude, I was even looking into CGC a lot, because they were the exact same price then as GMA. You just needed to get into bulk, which is 50 plus cards, and it would be $8. They actually just raised their pricing now to $9 a card, which, I mean, even that's not a horrible jump. I'd still be on board possibly to even send bulk to CGC over GMA, just because CGC is that known commodity in the comic world, you know what I mean? So they may come out and have a little bit more legitimacy now that they're doing cards, because they've been PSA of the comic world. So they're a very credible company. So that's something that, Marty and I were talking about yesterday, is our next GMA order, we may just switch it over to a CGC order, because A, I've never done a CGC order, and B, it's $1 more. Those slabs may have more value. So that's something I've been considering, you know what I mean? I don't know what you think of CGC, but I think the slabs could have a little bit more value than GMA.
I'm almost at the point right now where I'm just kind of sitting back and kind of letting things kind of fall as they are, as they say, and kind of see where people are valuing all these different companies' slabs. I'm seeing HGA, SGC, and so on and so forth. So, I'm really taking this first week of, the price raise to kind of see where all these companies are and everything else, because the more and more that I'm looking at or hearing people talk about HGA, I'm actually liking them more and more because of their color combos with their slabs, and they're actually getting some respectable prices. Especially, I think I saw it was a Luca Hoop 9.5 that went almost the same as a PSA 10 Luka hoops. So for the person that is going to have Luka and want to invest in Luka long term, if you can get a colored slab like that, it's going to be kind of a 401k type item. You want it to look nice. It's actually not a bad card to get, but I think a little bit went into that was a little bit of the hype with HGA, just wanting a slab. It is a Luka hoops at the end of the day, so it's a pretty safe investment for where it's at and everything else. So it's going to be interesting to see how things really, moving forward.
I've been really thinking about with HGA just sending in some of my Claypoles or Sextons, some of my like PC stuff that I have no intention of like ever getting rid of. Like I'm really considering resubbing that GMA 10 Sexton that I have, and I'm thinking about just sending that over to HGA. Just because I think that would be a really nice looking red, white, and blue slab. I think I'm going to do like a small sub to them just of like some PC stuff.
It's really hard to get in with them. I was watching Sports Card Anonymous last night, and he was waiting for the drop to submit cards because they only do it once a week, and that's it. I think he had 10 cards. He got them in. I think they're allowing at least 20 for each person in line. I like what they're doing. The only thing that I don't like is some of the colors. They do the color matches on some of the cards. For example, like Optic Hyper Pink and a couple others, they don't match. So like when you're picking some of these colors, you almost want to have to do some research on their color before you even pick like to go with the team color or go with the card color. If it's an off color, it's not going to help bring that max value that HGA can bring, because it's not going to look as sharp.
Definitely. I heard him saying that there was some talk about maybe even bringing, more into customization in HGMA in the future.
I think whatever they can do to give themselves a customized look, I think it's only going to help their value, and people really will start to value their stuff even more, because the more and more you see their cards being sold, trade, so on and so forth. I know when we go to shows sometimes, certain vendors, they won't even look at, like GMA or SGC. I was kind of surprised with at least SGC, because, they've been kind of number 3 for a while now. So, it's majority BGS and PSA is the only ones that they want to really dive in and trade or possibly buy off you. So I'm hoping to see that kind of change too, because, like we were talking about a little bit before, like with each company is kind of different, with either ship speeds or their value. So, with some of these other companies, to get cards graded faster and, to get some of your money back quicker, you know what I mean? Like using some of these other companies are going to be pretty essential, because I'm scared to see what, anything that was sent after, like even after the price raise, after all the super amounts of submissions that PSA got, it's going to be a while for, those cards to get back. It's probably going to be even longer than what they're currently set right now in that 6 to 8 month window. It might even go up to a year for some of those cards before the price raise. So
did you hear SGC came out and said that they're all caught up now, so you can send all their submissions?
No, I haven't heard anything with SGC.
Apparently, whenever they came out and announced the price raise, they said that the money was essentially going to just hire more staff so that they can continue to turn out, cards in a reasonable amount of time. And they did say that they are currently all caught up, so to send all your stuff in so that they can get it turned in the time frame that they've kind of laid out. So that's kind of nice to hear, especially since I just sent them a new submission like literally days before they just raised their price. So like I'm so glad I did that, man, because there were those rumblings that they were getting ready to raise to 20 and then they had gone to 25. I'm like, man, like that like totally like would have like killed me getting all those cards to personally send to there.
It's a huge jump for every company. Even GMA with $2 a piece. That all just eats up into your cost of doing business and getting cards slabbed and your investment. So it's like these companies, they know how big the market is and they want a bigger piece, and I kind of understand it. But the main thing for some of these small companies is like the SGCs and so on and so forth. Especially I would say even HGA. If they can grade more cards quicker, they might be able to get a bigger piece of the market, especially right now, because I love PSA. I like when I grade with them, I know I'm going to get max value, but having that long wait is going to really kind of stink, man. It's gonna have a lot of my cards in house and be sitting there for a while. So
the thing I really like besides the customization with HGA is they go with the Beckett format with the subgrades. Like I love the idea of subgrades, like, because if there's something you're knocking down my card for, I kind of want to know what it is, for one, and then for two, they're going with more of like a Beckett-y slab. You know what I mean? That nice heavy duty. You know, personally, I just love the quality of the Beckett slab.
Definitely. Beckett has the best slab by far. You know, their slab is kind of, I guess, the standard. You know, we've talked about, like, you know, when you had that one slab crack and stuff like that. You know, it's a little bit worrisome. You know what I mean? Like, whenever you know you get slabs like that and ship one out, or you're carrying a bunch to a show, and next you know you just crack 2 slabs, that, you know, that really stinks, man.
Yeah, man, that's like the worst feeling too, is like, because it was like slow motion, and I'm watching it tumble to the ground. I'm like, that is totally gonna crack, and it hit like right on the corner, and it was just like, man, like I couldn't have cracked it better with pliers, bro. But I mean, that goes back to like the quality of the slab too, because unfortunately on that same concrete slab of a floor, I've actually sadly dropped my LeBron Topps 221, but you know, I keep that thing like triple bagged in like in bubble wrap, and that Beckett slab is so beefy, bro. Like it literally was just like, well, nothing. You know what I mean? PSA slabs are so much more flimsy, dude. I mean, I like PSA. Like, I love what they stand for. I love the classicness of them. I just wish that their slab was a little more heavy duty.
I agree. Just a little bit better. Like, try to make a little bit thicker of a slab, even if it's just like, you know, just a small difference. That difference will make that slab that much more secure. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I mean, you just doubled all of your prices across the board, and you're still going to monopolize the entire industry. At least give us a better quality slab that won't break when dropped.
I think with HDA doing the color slabs and stuff, the PSA slab doesn't look as, you know, as sexy anymore, you know, once you start seeing some of these HDA slabs. So it might even make PSA change up some stuff and, you know, offer something like that, or maybe do an update look on some of their slabs, maybe coming soon.
I think the appeal to a PSA slab, just like the look of it, for me, the appeal is like nostalgia. You know what I mean? Because when I think of graded sports cards, like I always think back to, PSA slab, PSA slab, PSA slab. So for me, like really the big appeal of it is just like the nostalgia, like, oh man, like that's a graded card. You know what I mean? Like, not saying anything against any of the other companies, but I mean, PSA is king. You know what I mean? Like, I think that almost anybody in the industry, you know, outside of like really hardcore Beckett fanboys, you know, would say PSA is the king, you know, of the industry. You know, and it's just such a classic look, you know? It's just like one of those things. It's like Chuck Taylors. You know, we're still wearing them today, even though it's a completely outdated, not as advanced shoe, but it just has such a slick and classic look. And I have several pairs of Chuck Taylors because I'm nostalgic towards them. You know what I mean? Like, I grew up and Chuck Taylors were very popular. And I think it's the same with a lot of people collecting PSA slabs, in my opinion. I
agree. I mean, whenever you go to a show or anything like that, and you see those slabs, you know it's the king of grading, and you know that value is going to be top notch. And you know, it's just unfortunate, kind of, you know, how things have kind of turned over there with how long things are taking. But you know, that max value is max value for a reason, and that's why they're so backed up. But you know, hopefully their quarterly prices, they'll have something awesome coming up April 1st, so this way we can kind of have something for the quarter that is a little bit cheaper to grade or you know, send in.
That would be great, man. Like, They need to do something, man, just to like give you a little bit of a kickback. Like, hey, I know I'm kind of raking you over the coals. Like, I still care about you. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
You know, it's like whenever you get in a fight with your wife, and then out of nowhere she comes up and starts like kind of like nuzzling up on you, being all sweet. You know what I mean? PSA needs to, I think all these grading companies need to do something. Like, send us a coupon, do something, man. Like, you know what I mean? We help us help you.
I know during Christmas time, PSA was doing something for people that were submitting, like it was like a random giveaway type thing where they sent a couple items off for basically apologizing for the wait, and it was, I can't remember exactly what it was. I think it was a custom case or something, and then there was something with it. But yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, you know, having the amount of cards that I have in PSA from you and Joey and Paul and so on and so forth, I mean, it's a lot of cards, a lot of money that they're being made. But at least they have something on their website where they show the complete through date of where they're at on what, you know, what's value that you sent it in. So if you sent in a value or economy or regular, the day that it actually got entered into the system, not arrived, but entered, is what they show the complete dates for. So at least you have an idea of like, okay, well, I'm this behind, or, you know, well, I better send this express because I want to get this back in like a month and a half or 2 months, even though you're going to pay up for it, especially now. You know, at least you have the good idea of, or at least a better strategy when these cards should come back roughly, or, you know, is it even worth sending this in the PSA? Should I go somewhere else? You know what I mean? Because I want the card back faster.
I really think, like, as we move forward, like, to really protect, you know, the hobby from kind of turning into what it was in the 90s, I think grading is going to become ever more important. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to have to be, you know what I mean? That's going to be the only way to kind of keep a certain rarity to things, right. You know, so I think that all of these companies, you know what I mean, are going to have to kind of make their way in this somewhere, you know what I mean? Someone's going to have to kind of settle in there and be like, hey, I'm cool with being that mid-tier company, you know what I mean? Like, send me all of your base cards because I will grade them, you know what I mean? Right. Someone needs to be cool with being like, hey, I'm that low tier. Send me all that, like, you know, quick flippable stuff. You know what I mean? You want to get them Prism draft picks, top value, get them in and out, send them to me. I'll get them back to you quick. And then you can flip them graded before anyone else can even get them on the market, you know, unless they want to pay like out the butt on something that's going to lose value rapidly. You know what I mean? So like, I think some of these companies need to just fall into that, like, that groove. Like, for example, SGC, like, they're a respected company just because they've been doing stuff excellent for a long time, you know what I mean? And a lot of people still don't quite look at them like they would like Beckett or PSA. I mean, for me personally, I look at them kind of right on par with Beckett, you know what I mean? But then again, like, I really like SGC, like, compared to a lot of other slabs, just because I really like the black slab. But even that, they could make the actual label look better, in my opinion, with SGC. Like, I feel like the label's not super nice, but the rest of the slab is just like gorgeous with them, in my opinion.
I think that's why HGA will end up being like kind of even with maybe possibly Beckett, you know, as time goes. I think that will end up being the secondary go-to or you know, after those guys, you know, because of the customization and kind of like your creative juices can actually go into that card and make it look better, maybe make it more valuable because maybe the other person picked team colors and yours is a gold short print and you go with like a gold setting color on the slab and stuff like that. Yep. I just think that you know, because a lot of these pieces and some of these people that are in the hobby, they look at cards like an art, could like how paintings look to people that like that type of stuff. It's almost the same type of things. I think the look going forward and kind of what they're doing is pretty cool. I just hope that they can kind of ramp up a little bit faster, because if not, it's going to be super hard to grade. And when you don't have as many cards in the industry, you know, people won't think twice about the company. You know what I mean? Like, if you're able to get your face and your name and your product out there, and then people start really accepting it, I think that's whenever, you know, that they become that next tier after PSA and BGS.
I definitely think they have a leg up, man, like, as far as a new company, just because of the computer grading, you know what I mean? Because I think, like we've talked about so many times before, that's going to become a lot more prevalent, especially with turnaround times being so terrible, you know what I mean? Like, having that computerized to where, you know, a machine can do a lot of the work for you, and then you can just kind of focus on turning it over to the customer, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's going to be a big thing, and they kind of already have a leg up on that. So once PSA, BGS, SGC, once these other companies start adopting that, they're already going to be kind of like cemented as like the industry leader in that technology. So I think that does give them a little bit of a leg up, like, in regards to that. And, you know, like we've said, like, they're just super popular as far as the customization. So I definitely think that they're going to, you know, see some, you know, credibility within the hobby just because of that.
Yeah, with the AI, it should be, you know, across the board, like on a 9, a 9.5, a 10. And they do have people looking at the cards after the computer grades them to make sure that there's no computer errors, because we all know with computers sometimes things go a little crazy. So they do have someone double checking and making sure that the grade is legit, or if it got a horrible surface or something like that, they'll go back and they'll go, oh, okay, well, that's why. There's a print line running across, or there's the mosaic scratch that we see so often, so sadly. And it will definitely help as things go across the board, and it gives life to cards that maybe PSA for some reason said was altered or had issues and things of that nature too. So if you do have some of those cards and they have a bad a condition to it, like how they have for the OCs and stuff like that, there's a second chance for those cards.
Yep, but guys, we would love to hear kind of what you think in regards to the market, what you're going to do with grading. Are you going to stick with PSA only? Are you going to, stick with Beckett? Are you going to try some of these other grading companies? Nate, I'd like to know personally, because you are in my opinion, you're a PSA fanboy. Are you going to venture out and try any others, or are you going to just stay all PSA or selling raw?
I think moving forward, you'll see me doing a combination of HGA, maybe SGC, and for some of the lower end stuff, I think GMA is the move, for sure. So some stuff, it might not be super valuable, but it should sell very well. You know what I mean? And just having in a slab, at least, when the person gets it, they know that, okay, it's not going to be some card that has some horrible surface issues or whatever. Because that's what I buy a lot of cards raw on eBay. And the surface damage and everything that people put for cards that are new or are brand new, that they'll have so many issues to them, and it's just very unfortunate. So I think moving forward, even if it's in a GMA slab and you're getting it just a crack or whatever, it raising that price and that bar and its sellability is what's going to be key moving forward.
You know what? I love the idea of buying GMA slabs too, just as being somebody that's graded with them and seeing that they are thorough and that they'll give accurate grading. You know what I mean? Because like I said, we've even cracked a PSA 9, sent it in, and got a GMA 9. You know what I mean? So, and then we've sent certain flaws in just to see if they would grade hard on certain things, and they do. So I think it's smart. For example, just like that Sexton I bought, that's a GMA 10. I just haven't cracked it yet. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm probably going to send that into HGA just because I think that'll look slick in one of their slabs. But if you're one of those people, especially with a lot of people on eBay, basically listing stuff, new or new, and they don't disclose what's wrong with it. And honestly, a lot of people just don't know. You know what I mean? For example, that printing defect I did my video on the other day, a lot of people just don't know about it, or they just don't see it. And then you get it and you grade it and you're like, oh, dang, why did I get an 8? Or, why did this happen or that happen? Right. You know what I mean? Getting something that's already graded. And the great thing about a GMA 10 is you can get one for about the same as a PSA 9, if not less, and then just sub it over and, multiply your profits. Again, guys, leave your comments down below. Let us know what you think in regards to all of these changes in the market. Let us know your strategies, because we're learning on the fly here and we're adapting as well, guys. So any information that you could share with us would be greatly appreciated. Nate, before we go today, is there anything you want to share with the good people?
Check out our Facebook group. Pittsburgh, I have links in the description. Our auctions every Sunday between my channel and Pittsburgh's channel. Come hang out with us. Even if you don't want to buy cards, we just appreciate you hanging out with us, talking cards. We love talking the hobby.
Absolutely. All right, guys, we will see you in the next video.